Are you sure?
What's happening, hummingbird?
What's up?
I'll tell you what's up. I have the hiccups, everyone. And I debated if we should even record this podcast right now because of
Your condition?
my condition, my lowly condition. But I think they'll pass. I feel pretty confident that they'll pass.
Just love the hiccups.
Just love
them.
I love you, hiccups. I love you. And that's what we want to talk about today. We decided in our pre-podcast meeting when we were going through our list of topics that the topic that we feel most passionate about right now to share with you is love.
I was going to do the same thing. I was going to spell it out.
I know. You
Who
know
thought
why?
of it first?
I did.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Are you sure? I don't
Look,
know.
I get in your brain. This is what happens. See, let's talk about this real quick before we get into love. I want to talk about nonverbal communication. Just real quickly, just for a couple seconds.
Okay, what do you have to say about nonverbal communication?
Here's what I have to
Billy
say
Perkins.
about nonverbal communication is I'm becoming more and more of a master of it.
Oh yeah?
I am.
Are you sure? Are you sure maybe like you don't just experience moments of like connection? That could be maybe called telepathy in a way.
It is telepathy, but that's
I mean, nonverbal communication.
I'm a telepathic master. I am. And that's a whole nother show. We don't need to go there right now, but I just want to know that the reason that you experience that is because I went into your brain.
Oh.
I walked around for a few seconds.
You put it there.
And I put it there. I dropped it off. I jumped back out into my own brain. And then you said, oh my gosh, I was going to say this. And I was like, yeah, I know. I did that. Okay? I know
That sounds like some sci-fi novel.
It's not sci-fi. It's me. I am a fantasy, drama, comedy / sci-fi novel. That's what I am. And it's unique, to say the least. What's going on in here? What's going on in here?
In your brain.
In my big old brain that's under this big bald head, it's unique.
Well, that's for
And
certain.
you would think after almost 6 years you would recognize my uniqueness. But yet you haven't. One day you will, hummingbird. You will. But back to love.
Yeah, that sounded like a dramatic love story right there.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about love, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about love. Do you know what that is?
No, I don't know that.
Of course, I know you don't.
What is it?
It's Salt and Pepper. The real song is Let's Talk About Sex.
Oh.
But I just put in love, which are two totally different things, by the way.
Yeah, they
Took
are.
me a while to figure that one out, by the way. Honestly.
Yeah, you went searching for love in a lot of different places.
I did.
Lots
I
of
did.
different places.
I did. And every time I just walked out going, what happened? That wasn't love. What happened? Yeah. Anyway,
Okay,
we'll say that's a whole
we should
different
probably get a
podcast
little
too.
Focused here.
No, it's okay. It's okay. This is good. I feel very connected right now to you
No.
in a very loving way. See, I think love is playful.
Definitely. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think love is playful.
It's also very powerful.
But isn't there a lot of power in play? I mean, like when it comes to learning and stuff, I mean, look at how many corporations and institutions are starting to get their employees and their great thinkers to take time every day just to play. And they literally are building like playrooms in offices.
That's pretty
Where
cool.
they let them use crayons and markers and build, and it's like recess.
Oh, they get to do that?
Yeah,
they're
do.
allowed
They
to.
do. They're allowed to. They get to. I don't know what the terminology is. I don't speak with words. Didn't we just talk about this?
Oh, yeah.
So love is powerful.
Yeah, but I was saying more like in the sense that sometimes intense love can like kind of knock you over.
Tell
In
me
a
about
good
that.
way,
Will
you
you
know?
Will you share that with me? What that feels like your experience of like love that knocks you over?
I guess, I mean, I don't know. Haven't you had that experience
I
where you
have.
just like are standing there and you feel like this wave of intense beauty come over you, and it's like you could just, it's almost like you could just die right there because everything is so freaking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not because anything like happened as much as you just had this like moment of pause and complete awareness of like, this is an amazingly beautiful world that we live in.
Full of love.
Full of love. I mean, that to me is a feeling of love really intensely. So I think that, yeah, love is playful, but that was more like the power that I was talking about. I could see how play could be a powerful aspect to one's life, but it's not really what I was referring to.
My bad. So let's talk about this then, because there's things out there, there's words that I've heard that get put in front of love, like conditional and unconditional and sex and violent, and there's all these different like labels I've heard people put on different types of love. And for me, I've always thought, can we really brand love? Can I really categorize love? This is unconditional love. My love is unconditional. Or I'll love you if, which sounds very conditional. So what do you think about that, putting love into categories?
I mean, I guess I kind of feel like sometimes we do have like degrees of love within the use of the word. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
Oh, I love that. Or love ya. Versus I'm so filled with love right now. I want to tell everyone about what I'm experiencing, or I want everyone to experience what I'm experiencing in this moment of just me being alone by myself, feeling this intense, beautiful love. Or telling somebody that you feel very strongly for, I love you. So I think there's varying degrees of love for sure. I think it's unfortunate that within our language, maybe we haven't been taught, or maybe we are limited by the language of this, of English to, with just having this word love, whereas, everybody's heard, well, maybe not everybody's heard, but, Greek has like agape love, which is like fatherly.
I don't know.
Acceptance and like, and it would be considered a deeper, more true love versus like phileo, which is like a friendship love. So I think that I don't have a problem with love being, well, maybe I do have a problem with love being labeled as conditional or unconditional. I mean, is it really love if it's like a big condition? I don't know. I mean, but then you listen to teachers like Osho who say we just don't even understand what love is. Like, we have no clue. And that's where I think that glimpse of like that intense feeling that I wish I had words to describe, that rushing energy that can occur that just makes you feel like you're completely connected and absolutely okay with everything and everyone. I wish I could describe that, but I feel like sometimes we just don't understand it.
Yeah, what if there's a couple things I'd like to say. Let's start with that, like trying to describe that feeling of that knowingness. Because, as I write, my book, as I write poems, as I just sit down and just write things that are in my head, I find there's certain things that sometimes I sit there and I can't express. I struggle to express them because it's a knowing, it's an experience. And so for me, that experience sometimes comes out in metaphors, because it's like, oh, someone might relate to this metaphor, but even that metaphor can't even come close to being able to create how do you replicate this connection to all things?
Yeah.
With a word.
Or words.
Or words. I don't know either.
Or even a book.
Or even a book. Or even a lifetime. Right?
I think Rumi is pretty good at it.
Rumi.
I would say Rumi is pretty good at it.
I think Rumi's done right, but Rumi's words work because of the experience that you're projecting onto the words.
Yeah.
Right? So I think in a lot of ways, when it comes to the descriptive ideas of love, for me, I think it's the experience of it, and being able to go, this was my experience of love. And so Rumi's words resonate with me, or, this sunset hitting this old woman playing with her grandchild, just moves me, and to tears. I mean, there's those moments where you have these, I've been in my car and I just get this wave of like almost breathlessness that comes over me, and tears fill my eyes, and the amount of money in my bank account, the world's problems, my own personal problems, all those things dissolve. And there's this maybe it's 1 second, maybe it's 10 seconds, maybe it's 1 minute, where there's nothing. There's nothing but like an absolute sureness, an absolute positivity that all that is right, and it's beautiful, and it's happening exactly as it's supposed to, and that's the word I want to use. And that's the first thing I want to say. And the second thing I want to say is, going back to those ideas of unconditional love or conditioned love, something that popped in my mind is, I think it's important, at least for me, to say about that, there's an aspect to that I think that the underlying energy behind that is, I love myself enough to know when I can or can't partake in a thing, a person, a place.
Again, a situation.
A situation, right? And so for some people might say, oh, that's conditional love. But I think that's really just self-love, because you're so deeply in love with yourself that hey, I can't be with this person anymore. Not because of any other reason, I have so much self-respect and self-love.
Yeah, well, and I don't think that love necessarily means that you have to be with somebody all the time.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
like just because you choose to distance yourself from an individual doesn't mean that you're not a loving individual, or that you've exercised some form of lower love.
Well, yeah, and since we're going to talk about the relationship aspect of love, at least it sounds like that's the direction we're going for me. Maybe there's a possibility that you could also love multiple people at once, right? Isn't that one of man's big dilemmas in every tragedy we watch? Loving multiple people. And society says, well, you can only love one person.
I don't know. I love a lot of people.
I know.
In my life.
I love a ton of people.
A ton?
A ton. Do you know how many brains I've gone into with my telepathic powers? You don't have any idea. Maybe it's not a ton. Maybe it's a half ton. But yeah, love, it's big. And it's beautiful. And it's powerful. And I really believe it's the one thing that we all want more than anything else. More than wealth, more than sex, more than power, more than anything. I really believe that under it all is a deep, deep yearning to experience love. Real, that just, that love, that connection.